Alright guys, so I've got another update for you on this super awesome mare that I've got right now, and I want to focus a little bit more in this video on the groundwork aspect of things, because I'm a huge believer that success under saddle always starts with your groundwork. So in this video, I've got her out of the pasture, I've tacked her up, and I'm going to start with something simple like making sure she stops with me, and then making sure she'll back off of me when I ask, and that's just simple respect, and making sure she's paying attention to me before we start work. As always, make sure you have your super helpful assistant assisting you with lunging. Before I ask her to start any actual work or like really anything mentally challenging, I'm just going to let her run around and get her energy out, let her feel the saddle on her back, let her feel the stirrups hitting her sides, and just blow some steam for a minute. Once I know we can start to be productive, I'm just going to ask her to do something simple, which is down transition using voice and body cues. I step in front of her just a tiny bit in front of her shoulder, ask her to down transition to the trot using my voice, and she does so. And once I know we can take care of that, we do the upward transition, which is just a kiss to canter off, which she's very, very lazy, so this is not always easiest for her, as seen, and we just keep going. Being able to reverse on the lunge is something I consider to be very important and a very, very key part of respect in the round pen. All I need to do is step kind of in front of her where she's going and kiss and point the other direction, and she should reverse and move off of me. I've had a lot of horses just completely blow right past me and not paying attention at all, and not only is that extremely dangerous, but it's extremely disrespectful, and you're really seeing that you're not having your horse's attention in that situation. And building off that, your horse should be able to stop as soon as you ask them to. And right here, she kind of stopped and then thought about it and tried to continue, and I just corrected it, told her she was right by letting her stand still, and then we tried again. And if you don't have a whoa on the ground, you're not going to have a whoa under saddle.
Whoa. Good girl. Yeah, that's a good girl. Yeah.
Now this next part is something that I actually just started doing with her, and I've already seen awesome results. So all I'm doing is putting pressure where my leg would go, kind of an exaggerated spot, but putting pressure where my leg would go and kind of turning her head towards me so it gives her a little bit more of a hint as to where I want her hips to go. And this is all manipulating her hips, so I want her to move her hips off of my pressure. And I'm doing this so it's easier translated under saddle. So when I get on her, I want to be able to move her shoulders and her hips around, and that just gets her body a lot more flexible and a lot more responsive to me, and to be able to move fluently under saddle. So this is just making that communication a little bit more clear for her. In this clip, you can really see how she's isolating that hip movement, crossing those legs over, and getting off of that pressure. I decided to put this random little clip in here because bridling a horse can have a lot of respect issues as well, and it's just something that, especially given her height, almost 16'3" already as a 3-year-old, I really want her to be able to drop her head and, give me that respect to just make this a smooth process. So all I ask her to do is release to that pressure of me putting my hand on top of her head, keeping her head low for me, and accepting that bit, and just giving me no issues. I don't like horses to put their head in the sky and, clamp their mouth closed and everything else, which has other issues tied into it, and there's reasons why they do that. But nonetheless, I want to make this whole bridling experience positive for her and let it go smoothly. And once I get on her, we just kind of stand and relax for a minute just to avoid any anxieties about the mounting block and make sure we can stand still. And as we move into the riding portions of things, I do want to make something very clear that this might not be the prettiest thing, and it might not be the prettiest footage that you've seen of this horse. There's a reason behind that. So I really don't care if her neck is in the air right now. I'm not asking her to drop her neck. She's still a baby. She's still figuring that out. If she wants to, she's more than welcome to, but that's not what I'm focusing on right now. In this ride and in rides this past week and in the coming week, I'm really focusing on isolating her shoulders and her hips and being able to move and manipulate the two of them. I'm a very visual learner, and a really awesome visual that my trainer shared with me a while ago was opening the door with one rein and pushing them through that open space with your opposite leg. And that's really encouraging them to isolate those shoulders and move the shoulders around in that open space. And then a similar concept with the hips. I'm going to pull her head around so it kind of gives her that opening of where I want her hips to naturally go. And then I'm going to use my leg and ask her to move her hips. And you'll see a very similar clip to when we did this on the ground right here, where she crosses that leg, and as soon as she does it and moves those hips, I praise her. Now I'm going to get on my soapbox for just a second here, because I think a lot of people have issues because they don't put in the time in the walk and the trot, and they get so focused on the canter and jumping and everything else that everything falls apart because your foundation's not there. So I'm doing something super simple with this mare. I'm literally just asking her to steer off my feet, and we are building upon that by being able to manipulate her hips and her shoulders, and that translates into, when I put pressure on your belly, that means either change direction or pick up your shoulder or move your hip around, and that makes it so much easier for her to understand when we do it at a standstill, and then a walk, and then a trot. I know this was kind of a short little update this time, but I'm really enjoying documenting our progress this way. It's really satisfying to look back and see at the work and see the results that come out of it, and it's a good way for me to organize my thoughts and plans for next ride. But if you guys like these type of videos with the voiceovers and explaining what I'm doing, please let me know, and I will definitely have some more, and I'm really looking forward to riding this mare again.